we see Russia, after the fall of the communist regime that has become very much a corrupt oligarch, and there's been attempts and there's been hope throughout the last 20 years to see Russia move forward, but there are real concerns about what's happening there right now. And as we speak, Mr. Speaker, 3 young women who were recently convicted of the crime of embarrassing the Russian ruler with a piece of theater, Yekaterina Samutsevich, Natsevia Tolokonikova, and Maria Alyokina, who were all arrested, convicted, and sent to prison penal colonies. Yekaterina Samutsevich was actually finally released, but the other 2 young women in their early 20s, young mothers who are now serving hard labor time in penal colonies for the crime of having embarrassed the oligarch Putin. This is happening in 2012. But what also was very sad and shameful was that Mr. Putin, in his attack on these young women artists, was actually backed by the patriarchs of the Russian Orthodox Church, who felt that they had been embarrassed as well. And for a church that had been so persecuted under the Soviet Union, we would have hoped that we would have seen the leadership of the church to call on Mr. Putin not to use the power of the state to try and crush artists, because it's the role of the artist to say what perhaps the media and sometimes other people are unwilling to say. And yet we have 2 young women, dissident women, who are suffering right now in a penal colony in Russia in 2012, and very little has been said internationally. And Mr. Putin continues to carry on. So when we see the murder of Mr. Litvenko that happened, and the lack of action in terms of finding out who did it, and the fact that it was involving nuclear materials, that's a very concerning issue. And for the young women of Pussy Riot, we do need parliaments, and we do need political leaders to stand up and say the right of dissent, the right of art must be protected around the world, even in the world of Vladimir Putin.